All right, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to run your SMS marketing from start to finish for your e-commerce brand in 2026. So you guys ensure you have a great year in front of you and you crush some records. So here's my promise to you. Here's our agenda for today. So this is what we're going to cover. First of all, why you actually need SMS marketing in the first place. Then I'm going to show you some SMS marketing foundations, how to use SMS, how do you collect phone numbers, how do you grow your lists, how do you get more people to send SMS to, then how do you set up SMS flows or basically automations, whatever you want to call them, up to you, and then how to send SMS campaigns. So that's our agenda for today. So let's dive right into it. Here's a little bit about me, if that's what you want to know. If not, if you don't really care, that's also fine. By the way, in this video, I'm not going to show you how to set up your SMS technical stuff on Klaviyo and Omnisend and whatever you decide to use. However, I'm going to show you some platforms, some options, and then tell you what my opinion is on those platforms. But in terms of actually setting up the SMS, like all the technical stuff, like setting up your phone number and all that stuff, I'm not going to show you that because actually every single provider has a way better guide than I could ever create. So I just included Klaviyo's one here and Omnisend ones. If you use Attentive, PostScript, whatever you choose to use, you're going to have the same guides for their platforms. It's going to be, first of all, very easy to find. Just Google it, right? And then it's going to be very easy to follow and set up. So I don't want to waste your time showing you that. So you can find these guides in this document that is going to be linked below. So this document completely for free. You can just go in the description, click the link, open it up. No need to sign up for a newsletter. Give me your email. Give me $1 or $2 so I can filter out the buyers and all the sketchy marketing bullshit. No, just go ahead, click the link, get the doc, follow the instructions from the doc, and you can set up your, basically not set up, this is how to set it up, but you can see how to run your SMS from start to finish. So why SMS marketing? So here's a little comparison chart, a comparison table, right? SMS versus email. Now, this is not to tell you SMS versus email, like SMS is better than email and email is better than SMS. You should only run one thing. On this channel, and what my agency does is like we run email and SMS for our clients, and I'm going to show you on this channel in general how to run email and SMS for yourself, right? So this is not to tell you run one thing, don't do the other thing. This is just to show you when you should use one thing based on some data, right? So data is telling us the following stuff. Email has an average open rate of 40%. SMS has an average open rate of 98%. So massive difference, like more than 2x, right? Then click rate, 1% on email, about 5% on SMS. So people are way more responsive, right? Deliverability, 84% on email and 97% on SMS, right? Return on investment, $36 to $44 on email, $45 to $71 on SMS approximately. Unsubscribe rate, here's where you see why we don't just spam SMS, right? 0.02%, actually 0.2% on email, and then 1% on SMS, right? So you can see we have, like these stats are working in favor of SMS, but when you see the unsubscribe rate, which is 5 times as high compared to email, right? You see why we can't just spam SMS. So based on these stats here, you think like, why are people even doing email, right? But we're going to get into that in a second, right? But just based on unsubscribe rate, you can actually see that you just can't spam SMS because even if you're sending it like, let's say 1 time a week, you're going to get this unsubscribe rate. If you were to try to bump it up to, let's say 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week, like you would do with email, maybe even 5, like for bigger brands, right? You would be getting massive unsubscribe rates. So it really wouldn't be worth it for you in the long run, right? So these are just some stats. The idea is, actually, I'm going to explain to you how do we utilize this and what's the idea behind each channel. So SMS Marketing Foundations. First of all, let's make a difference between SMS and MMS. So SMS is a text-only message, basically just text, like words, okay? MMS is a message that contains an image as well. So you have like words like SMS, but then you also have an image. So what's the difference? Like obvious difference, this has an image, this doesn't have an image, right? Obvious one, right? But MMS costs 3 times more money to send. So if this one costs, let's say $1, like this just theoretically, this is going to cost $3. So this means that if you want to use an MMS message and make it make sense, right? You need to be very, 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 very confident that it will produce more revenue than SMS. So it's actually worth it, right? Because if you were to just send this, you're just losing money if it doesn't produce way more, like 3 times more money than this one, right? So it's rarely a case that the image itself is going to make such a big difference that sending an MMS message makes more sense than an SMS message, but it might be a case. So for example, in your automations, your welcome flow, welcome automation, whatever, you can run like A/B tests and see which one makes more sense. I'm going to show you some examples of people using actually MMS in their welcome flow, but you really have to test it. You can't just be like, okay, let's do an image because I think it's going to work better, right? Because you actually have to test everything and rely on data, not just like I think and I believe in this and that, right? So sending frequency. SMS is like way more intrusive and aggressive than email. So naturally, the frequency needs to be lower. So for email, we've seen the numbers are way lower for like open rate, click rate, and all of that stuff. But we also have a way smaller unsubscribe rate, obviously. So our frequency could be 3 to 4 times per week. So we're going to get lower open rates, lower click rates, and lower unsubscribe rates, but we're going to send it way more times per week. For SMS, you should really stick to 1, maybe 2 times per week, leaning towards 1 time per week. Maybe even you miss some weeks, right? In most cases, right? This is like your regular week. It's okay to send more when you're doing some sort of a big sale, event, whatever, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and that sort of stuff, Christmas, right? That's fine. Like you can send more. You can send 2, 3, maybe even 4 times per week. Or even in those cases, sending 4 times a week is too much. For email, in those cases, you would be sending like 2 times a day, right? For SMS, 3 times a week is like upper limit, right? So sticking to 1 time per week is going to be the best use in most cases. So if you send too many SMS messages, people will just unsubscribe. So you'll lose all the potential customers you could have got in the future had you been more patient, right? And strategic. Because if you really try to get as much money out of them as possible in the short run, you're going to lose all the potential money that you could have got in the future. So be patient with SMS. It's really a slow game. You have to build up your list. It builds up way slower than your email. But it can get like way higher ROI if you play it right. Now, message length. So 1 SMS message equals to 100 characters, okay? 160 characters, sorry. So 160 characters is counted as 1 SMS message. Even if your message contains 161 character, okay, which is 1 extra character, that is counted as 2 SMS messages, okay? Which means that you're paying double the price for the same, not for the same, like for 1 more character, right? You could get it to like 320, you would pay the same amount of money for 320 characters and 161 characters is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to make a longer message and pay twice the money, you need to be very, 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 very confident that it's going to produce way more money, right? Twice the money. So what I recommend you do is you try to compress your messages into 1 SMS message whenever possible, right? Maybe sometimes you really want to test longer messages and it really proves that it actually works better. That's fine. But at the beginning, like let's say you're starting to take this seriously right now, I suggest you try to get your point across in 160 characters or less just right now. Then as you get better at SMS, you get more experience, you can try doing longer messages. You'll develop that sense of like, okay, this time it will make sense that I include more characters. This time it won't make sense. You'll develop the feeling for it, right, as you do it. But at the beginning, I recommend you stick to 1 message, okay? Now, emojis. So emojis are another thing you need to be very, very, very careful with because including emojis, which is funny, reduces your message length from 160 to only 70 characters. So you're writing, right? You're typing your message and then you include like a smiley face, okay? That is going to make a huge difference because your SMS message limit for like 1 message is going to be only 70 characters instead of 160. Why it works like that, I don't really know. It's like some HTML thing, some code thing, something stupid, okay? But it works like that. Those are the rules, so we have to follow them, okay? There's really no way around it. So this is something I would also avoid because if you want to include an emoji in your SMS, you have 2 options. So you can either include an emoji, stick to 70 characters, try to write your message and fit it in 70 characters only, which is definitely not enough. Or the other option, which is like include an emoji and then pay way more, like 2, 3, 4 messages, whatever, to get your point across, right? Both options, in my opinion, suck completely. Like either paying more just to have an emoji is probably not going to get you more money, or just having a short 70 character message is just not going to deliver what you're trying to do. So 70 characters, as I said, is just not enough, okay? If you were to try, you would think like, yeah, 70 characters, like you would have to keep in mind like dots, full stops, spaces, everything is counted as a character. So it's just not going to be enough, okay? So again, stick to plain text messages for most of your messages and you'll be fine because people are really not going to make too big of a difference based on you having an emoji and not having an emoji. Now, platforms. So these are the most popular basically, but you can try to use some other ones. So Klaviyo, Attentive, PostScript, and also Omnisend, which is pretty much a similar thing to Klaviyo, like email and SMS in one place. You can use all of them. So these ones are going to be mostly like you're just running your SMS on Attentive or PostScript, and let's say your email on Klaviyo. You can do that. That's fine. But what I recommend you do and what we do for our clients is, let's say we're using Klaviyo for you. We're running your email on Klaviyo. We're going to set up SMS on Klaviyo as well because we're going to have everything in one place that way. And another thing that would happen that could really cause some issues to you is like, let's say you're using 2 separate platforms. Let's say you're using Klaviyo for email and Attentive for SMS, which is like a very common setup. What could happen is like double attributions. So if that happens, you really can get accurate data on like how is your email and SMS performing, and it's like not really a good thing. So to avoid all of that crap, what you can do is like stick to Klaviyo, or let's say you're using Omnisend or whatever. You stick to one platform that has both email and SMS, because it's really going to be enough for you. Trust me. Even if you think like, yeah, we're going to get this fancy attentive platform, like this is not like rent attentive, like you can still use it. It's completely fine, like great platform. I'm just saying that, just using it as an example, right? I'm just saying that like really you don't need those fancy AI features, segmentation, all of that stupid stuff, because first of all, you don't even know how to use it. Even if you knew, you don't know how to properly use it to actually make it worth it, right? So it's just going to be a waste of time. You don't really need it. Like Klaviyo has way more than you actually need. Like even Klaviyo is going to be an overkill, right? With all these functions, like it's just going to be enough. So my recommendation, use one platform for email and SMS. But if you really want to use Attentive, PostScript, whatever, you really want to have some fancy features that you actually need because your brand is specific and you actually know how to use it, absolutely fine. Like I'm really saying that go for it. But for most of you guys that are like beginners in this SMS stuff, and like even in email stuff, like you don't really know how to use it. You're just starting out to take it seriously. You're more of a like ads guy, content guy, all of that. And you're trying to get your backend as well, your email and SMS, right? I would suggest you do Klaviyo. Like don't fall for the AI fancy feature pitch. Like don't be a geek, okay? Don't be a goose. Like don't let people famous you, okay? Just stick to one thing and you'll be fine, okay? So how to use SMS. Basically, there are only two use cases for SMS, and they're basically the same as use cases for email marketing. Number one, flows, or basically automations. I call them flows because that's what they're called in Klaviyo, but they're basically automations. So they're basically automated sequences that you set up once and then people receive based on a certain rule or condition or whatever, okay, trigger. So automations and campaigns. So campaigns, actually, I'm going to explain a difference in a minute, okay? So SMS flows. So flows, I'm going to call them flows in this video and every single video because I use Klaviyo for most of my clients and I like saying flows, okay? If you want to call them automations, fine, up to you. Just know it's the same thing. So flows are automated SMS sequences that fire based on a specific trigger. So for example, when someone joins your list, they'll trigger an SMS welcome flow. So the trigger for the SMS welcome flow is like when a person joins the list. So when that trigger fires, they're going to receive this flow. So this flow can have multiple messages. They're going to receive one message. And let's say you set it up this way. You have a message, then after 2-day delay, they receive another message. Then after 1-day delay, they receive the third message. That is a flow, okay? So for example, when someone abandons their cart, they're going to trigger your SMS abandoned cart flow, okay? So for SMS flows, you'll need welcome flow, abandoned cart flow, and abandoned checkout flow. So these are going to be your non-negotiable. These are your bread and butter, okay? These are must-haves. You have to have all three of these. And then you can have some nice to have flows, such as browse abandonment flows. So for example, someone views a specific product on your website, they leave that product page, and then they receive browse abandonment flow like, hey, we know you've seen this product, maybe you want to reconsider the purchase, whatever, something like that, right? Post-purchase flow. So self-explanatory pretty much. They buy something from you. After the purchase, they receive SMS message from sorry about that, guys. I would have recorded for some time. So they receive SMS messages from you, and then you try to upsell them, convince them to buy something again, or just get them like that nice, cozy experience of like, oh, these people actually care about me, and make customers feel nice, if that makes sense. Win-back flow. So pretty much someone bought something from you a while ago, let's say a year ago, and they haven't bought ever since. You try to get them back like, hey, we noticed you haven't been very active on our website for a long time. Maybe you want to get 15% off and consider buying something like this, and then you get them to your bestsellers page or something like that, okay? So if you don't have much time, or you're like a smaller brand, you're not too big right now, you're not too big yet, right? You don't have to worry about these pretty much, because most likely they're not really going to produce many results because not many people are actually going to enter these. But I don't really care how big of a brand you are. You need to have these. Like even if they don't really produce results immediately because you're a really small brand, I would advise you at least set it up so you have it in place, because this is, as I said, like your must-haves, okay? These are like your bread and butter of your email marketing automations. Actually, SMS automation, sorry. But even email marketing automation. So, SMS campaigns, next thing, or actually the second and only thing you can do with SMS. SMS campaigns are messages that you write, you pick a list or a segment you want to send it to. So you pick, let's say, a list, or let's say you pick your entire list of your SMS subscribers, you write the message, you pick a time and date, let's say you pick 23rd March, Tuesday, or whatever date it is, and you want to send it at like 12:31 p.m., whatever. You click send, and then everyone on the list that you selected is going to receive your SMS message on 23rd of March, 12:31 p.m., okay? So, for email marketing, we want to be sending 3 to 4 times per week, maybe 2 to 4 times per week if you're like a smaller brand, maybe more like 3 to 5 times per week if you're a bigger brand. And we want to be sending educational, value providing, entertaining emails. So basically, like, let's say you're a supplement brand, then you want to be sending emails about your supplements and like health and stuff like that, right? But if we were to try to say the same strategy for SMS, people would just unsubscribe because SMS is not really a suitable platform for content like that. People don't really like receiving educational content on their messages, right? And even if they did, like, it would be too expensive to actually provide enough value in an SMS message because it would be too long, right? So it would be very, very expensive and the ROI would just not be there. Instead, what you want to use your SMS messages for is the following. So sales, pretty self-explanatory, right? Product launches, product restocks, loan stock campaigns, giveaways, stuff like that, right? Basically, these are just examples, right? Most of the times you're going to use it in these cases, but pretty much any kind of urgency-driven event where like it's very important for people to act fast is going to perform very well on SMS because it will get open faster and it will get way more responses and interactions than email, right? Now, that is not to say that you're running a sale and you just run it on SMS unless you really want to run a specific SMS sale for SMS subscribers, exclusive, all that stuff, right? That's fine, but like your general, like casual sale that you're doing, whatever, that doesn't really have to be exclusive for SMS subscribers, you're running them using both email and SMS, right? The idea is just to use them as an orchestra, as in like a tool that you use, that you kind of like synchronize, okay? That's the idea, not just like, oh, now I'm going to switch to SMS and I'm going to completely neglect email or like vice versa. No, you're using both of them as a tool that is going to help you generate the most amount of sales. So how to grow your SMS list. So the main vehicle for your list growth will be the same as for email, and that is going to be your pop-up form, okay? So you can also use the form on the checkout. So it's like going to be like people are filling out their information when they want to check out, and then they enter their phone number, and then there's like a tick box underneath saying like, hey, do you want to like be a part of our SMS list? They can like opt in or opt out, whatever. And that is like a way that people can get on your list, right? And that's fine, but it's not going to be nearly as effective as your pop-up form. So pop-up form is like the most important thing for you. If you don't have this thing, like this, I just wanted to mention it just so you know it exists, right? But it's like, if you don't have it, no one cares. If you don't have a pop-up form for growing your email and SMS list, you're completely cooked, okay? Like there is nothing you can do to grow your list that is going to be as effective as this, okay? So I recommend you set this thing up if you want it, if you have enough time, if you're getting enough traffic and sales a day and whatever. But if you don't care, if you forget to do it, not too big of a deal. But if your pop-up form is not set up properly, and if you're not testing and optimizing every single week, you are cooked, you're destined to fail, okay? So shift all of your attention to improving your pop-up form, okay? All of your attention when it comes to your list growth and email and SMS should be here, okay? Improving and optimizing your pop-up form, A/B testing stuff to get as most people to subscribe as possible. So I'm going to actually show you how to build a good pop-up form inside of Klaviyo that will allow you to capture phone numbers efficiently, right? I actually did one of these videos when I show you like from start to finish how to build a pop-up form from scratch in Klaviyo for both email and SMS. But in this video, actually that video is going to pop up right here, okay? You can just go ahead, click the card, watch the entire video. I'm going to literally show you in that video from start to finish, from scratch completely, as a complete beginner, how to build the pop-up form. But in this video, I'm also going to show you how to build it for SMS. So in this video, we're just going to focus on SMS. We're not really going to talk about email that much. I'm just going to mainly show you some good practices, like some really pretty much smart stuff that you need to do in order to optimize it as much as possible. Some tricks that you probably don't know and that you probably haven't heard of before. They are really going to boost your opt-in rate, okay? All right, so here we are inside of Klaviyo. So here I have a dummy account, as always, that we're going to use, just so I can show you exactly how to build a good pop-up form for your SMS marketing so you can collect as many phone numbers as possible and then have as big of a list as possible that you can market to, right? So we're here, right? Homepage, right? So where do you find the place to manage your sign-up forms? So you can find it either here, under sign-up forms, first of all, under our website, and then sign-up forms, or you can come here to audience and then growth tools, and then you can find here manage sign-up forms. Really up to you. It's really going to direct you to the same page, okay? So here we are, sign-up forms. As you can see, we have a bunch of sign-up forms that we've created here on the channel live, right? But for the sake of this video, we're going to create another one from scratch. So you come here, click create form, okay? And then we need to select a template. So in this case, so actually, if you've been watching my videos for some time right now, what I usually like to do is select this template here, okay? Because it's kind of like the most blank and the easiest to customize. But first of all, let's see what they offer to us for phone numbers, right? Because in this video, we're really going to focus on phone numbers, okay? So let's see what we have here. That is going to be nice. Now, I'm not really a big fan of any of these, to be honest. So I think we're just going to stick to the usual one because I kind of like that one the most. So we're going to call it SMS Pop-up 2026, okay? Email subscriber list, so it's going to go to email. Now, as I said in this video, we're not really going to talk about email opt-in on pop-up form, right? We're just going to talk about SMS part of this pop-up form, okay? So you click create form. So basically what we've just done here is we selected the list where people who subscribe to our email and SMS are going to be added to. So as you can see here, this is the part where people enter their email address, okay? So this is what it looks like on desktop and this is what it looks like on mobile. As I said, we're really going to focus on our SMS here. If you want to see how do we create the entire thing with like the email part and SMS part and then a success page, teasers, how do you run A/B tests, what A/B tests to run, like good practices that you should follow and all of that. If you really want to see the entire thing from start to finish, go ahead, watch the video that's going to pop up right now, or you can just find it on my channel. Actually, let me link it down below for you guys because it's going to be easier for you to find it. But as I said, it's going to pop up right now. You can go ahead and watch it. It's like a masterclass on creating a great pop-up form for your brand, okay? So for this video, for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about SMS only. Okay, so first of all, we're going to change this image here. So let's use one of the images that we already have in the library. So let's use the one that we use pretty much all the time. So let's use this one. I really like this one because we're just going to do it for the North Face. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, for your own brand, you're going to find a really good image that you can use here that's going to represent your brand, whatever. I usually recommend like lifestyle images, which is pretty much like people using your product in like real life, or like some really cool product images. Now with the AI, you can also like create some new images that don't really exist, right? You can do that as well, but it's really up to you. Now, for the alt text, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to say North Face. Doesn't really matter. And then we're going to add our logo. So how do you add elements to this pop-up form? You come here, add blocks, you drag an image here, drag it up there, select image, and then we're going to find the North Face logo here. So let's just use this one. Doesn't really matter. And you can see what it looks like, right? Next thing. So the next thing we want to do is pretty much change this copy, right? Now, for me to change this copy and to show you how to do it, it probably need to be pretty much aligned to this part here. So what we would say here is like, let's say you've got 10% off, right? We would say that here as like part of the email opt-in, right? Now, I'm not really going to customize it, make it bigger because I'm too lazy to do it, right? It's just really for the sake of you to get, for the sake of this video, right? Just so you can get an idea of what we would say here. So if you were to say you've got 10% off here, and people enter email here, they click continue, right? Again, we wouldn't say continue here, but this is like a topic for another video. People click the button, enter their email, right? They land here. So what we would say here is pretty much finish signing up. That's what I like to say first. Finish signing up, or like almost there, right? If I were to just say this without you getting this as a context, it wouldn't make much sense. But that's the idea because it's going in that order. People enter their email here, right? And they land here because we said you've got 10% off. We can say almost there here. And then we can say enter a number to get SMS only deals. That's fine. We can maybe even remove that, but that's fine. Or we can say like finish signing up, or we can just say you got 10% off, or you can say we can say like unlock 10% off, something like that. Like that's going to be fine. But let's say we would say finish signing up, because this implies that this is the last step, which is really easy, right? Which means that people are going to be like, okay, finally, after I enter this, I'm going to get my discount, right? So this thing we can actually delete because the less copy you have, the more your pop-up form is going to be effective, right? Because too much copy is just going to be too distracting, okay? Now this part here, you may be asking like, what is this text? This is basically like for the legal reasons, you need to have this, right? What you can do is like put it here, okay? And then have like finish signing up and phone number. It really comes down to aesthetic. What could happen is like they're like ambulance chasing lawyers and all of that stuff. What they can like kind of like sue you based on is like if you have this here below your phone number, they could be like, okay, like if I'm reading it from here to here, like from top to bottom, the first thing I saw is like me entering the phone number, and then I saw like the disclosure, right? So I couldn't read the disclosure before entering the number, which is obviously stupid, but there are people doing that for a living, right? So what you can do to avoid that is like just put this here, right? And then they can't really argue about that. But again, I wouldn't worry too much about it because the chances of you facing an issue like that are like very, very, very slim, okay? Now, let's make this slightly bigger. Let's make it like 20, 120, 20, okay? Make it bigger. I said make it bigger. Why can't I apply it? Oh, I have to select the text, sorry. Make it not 28, let's make it 35. Not that, 35, like that. That looks better. then this send is fine. And then no, I don't want text. Let's say no, I will pay the full price, like that. And that's pretty much fine. So as I said, like creating it in a pop-up form from scratch is pretty simple. What we also can do, right, is like, since this one, this button here is like close the form button, what we can do is like we can remove this X, because what people do is like they get a pop-up form, right? And what they do instantly, like pretty much instinctively, is they reach with their right thumb for the top right corner to close the form. So what you can do, for example, running a test is like having an X versus not having an X, right? So we can remove the X and say like this thing, we can make it transparent like that, and then remove this, and boom, X is not there. Or maybe you can test like having an X in the top left corner. That's also something you can do, right? So how would you do that? You would just add way more margin here and remove this margin, and it would probably go to the left side, right? You would add like, let's say, okay, that's too much. You have to like really try to get it there, like that. That's not enough. 1300. Let's do 1350, and boom, you have it there, right? So you test that, and probably add a little bit margin on top, like 15 maybe. And then here, maybe 15, okay? So you would do that, you would test that, and then you would see like, okay, having an X in the top right corner versus top left corner, which one works better? Then having an X in the top left corner versus not having an X at all, which one works better, right? Hope that makes sense. So that's how you create your pop form for your SMS, right? Now, this is, as I said, like really high level overview, like really like simple. If you want a complete deep dive masterclass on pop-up form, again, go watch the video that I made, because it's really good. Okay, I really dive deep into every single thing, like email pop-up form, SMS pop-up form, teasers, basically which tests to run, how to run them, good examples, bad examples, good offers, bad offers, good copy, bad copy. Every single thing that you can think of is covered in that video. So go ahead and watch that. Now, as I said, this is how we create a pop-up form for our SMS in like few minutes. That is going to really get people to sign up and give us their phone number so we can send them SMS messages, right? Now, let's get back to our document and let's see how do we actually create some flows, automations, campaigns, and all that stuff. Right, so the SMS welcome flow. Let's see how that works. So what's the goal behind this flow, or basically automation? So the goal of a welcome flow is to deliver the discount. So if you don't know, if you want to get people on your list to subscribe to your email list and your SMS list, you need to give them some sort of an incentive. So some offers could be like free shipping, 10% off, 15% off, whatever. So basically a discount, which is like based on percentage. You could do like dollars off, like fixed discount, like $30 off your first order, whatever. You could do stuff like free gifts, like you get like, let's say you buy whatever supplements, you get a bonus pack of supplements as a free gift for your first purchase, stuff like that. Like those are kind of like the most common offers, but what like the most common offer is like a discount, right? So the goal of a welcome flow is to deliver that discount in the first message and every single message following that, and encourage people to use the discount and spend money on your website. So unlike the email welcome flow, where we're trying to kind of like educate the customer, the purpose of this flow is only to deliver the discount. Since we have a limiting length of the message, so you can't really fit too much content into it, right? So for the welcome flow, we're trying to deliver the discount, but we're also trying to bias the customers around our product, around our brand, to kind of like educate them about the brand, to show them some social proof, whatever, all the different stuff like that you could have seen in my other videos covering the welcome flow, right? But for this specific welcome flow, which is basically SMS welcome flow, we really only want to deliver discount and get people to spend the money, okay? So here's the outline. Trigger, so basically when people subscribe to SMS marketing, so basically when people enter their phone number on that field that we had on our pop-up form. Filter, placed order 0 times over all time. So this is just to avoid people who purchased before but haven't been subscribed to the list to get the discount code because they're already a customer. And then there's going to be no time delay, so people are going to receive the SMS immediately. So they sign up, they get an SMS. The same thing goes for the email. So they sign up, they get an email and SMS, both things at the same time immediately, okay? Now, SMS number 1 is just going to be a welcome. So it's literally going to be deliver discount, call to action, that's it, okay? So it's literally just like, hey, here's your discount, you can buy here. Boom. I'm going to show you an example in a minute. 2 days after that, you could do 1 day, you could do 3 days. Like this is something you really need to test. Like this is a really good A/B test to do. But let's say you start with 2 days. After 2 days, you send a reminder. So you're just going to remind people of the discount, have a CTA, and that's pretty much it. Super simple, super straightforward, nothing really complicated. Then 3 days after that, it's going to be kind of like a last chance email. So this is like a last chance to use the discount is going to expire. You can use it here. Boom, done. Okay, that's the outline. As you can see, super simple. Also keep in mind, this is like literally text. Like these are like text messages. Like setting up this thing is going to take you no more than like 10, maybe 15 minutes. But literally 10 minutes, probably even less than that. Like it's super simple to set up. Now, what like real work is like actually testing this and like reading the data and all that, but setting it up for the first time is going to be very, very simple. Obviously, if you're going to set up a simple thing. Later down the line, if you're like a bigger brand, you can do way more complicated like splits and like longer flows maybe and stuff like that. But like for most of you guys that are like smaller brands and you're just doing this by yourself, doing it like this is going to be absolutely fine at the beginning at least, okay? Now, examples. So this is the SMS number one, the first SMS you get in the welcome flow, or a brand called Grunt. So you probably heard of this brand. They're like really big. They're a 9-figure brand. They made it to like 100 mil evaluation in like 2 years or something like that, which is like crazy, right? And this is pretty much a direct competitor to Athletic Greens. You probably know AG1, right? Pretty much the same thing, just in the form of a gummy. So I actually made a video breaking down their entire funnel, like email, SMS, ads, landing pages, all of that stuff in one video. So you can go watch it. Boom, it's going to pop up right now. Go find it on my channel. It's actually a really good video because I broke down every single thing about their funnel. So you can see how they're actually so successful. Okay, so you can see that they're actually using an MMS, okay? You can see here, MMS, because they can afford to do that, right? They're a really big brand. They have probably really great ROI on all of their ads. Like they're running a lot of ads at the same time. The same thing goes for their email and SMS marketing. They're really nailing it. Like they're really pushing a lot of content, so they can afford to do that. I don't know whether they actually tested like SMS versus MMS. You can also see that they have emojis. Like it's really long. This costs a lot of money to send, but it's probably working for them, right? But for your brand, I would start with SMS, and then maybe if you really think it makes sense to include an image, maybe you have some sort of a product that's like more on a visual side, like it's really important for people to see it, some sort of fashion, accessories, whatever, stuff like that. Then fine, you can try, you can actually test SMS versus MMS. But as I said, you have to test it. You can't just be like, yeah, let's say my products are sunglasses. I really think people want to see my sunglasses. Boom, let's do an MMS without testing anything. Because yeah, people want to see your sunglasses, but maybe they'll be fine with just clicking the link on your message and then going to the website and seeing your sunglasses, right? So don't be stupid, actually test it, look at the data, and then if it really makes sense, just go with MMS. That's fine. But if it actually makes sense. So here's their message. Welcome to the Bruns family. We shared our Grunt's contact here, a card here, give it a tap and save our digit as a new contact in your phone. P.S. Our founder's wife didn't save his number in her phone until they got married. Ha ha ha. Don't do that to us, please. Ha ha, little joke. So, Gruns, welcome to the Gruns family. We're thrilled you'll let us help you improve your gut health. Gruns gummies are loaded with gut-friendly goodness like fiber and prebiotics to give your belly the TLC it deserves. Whether you need a little extra support or just want to keep things running smoothly, Gruns has you covered. You're eligible for a welcome offer today. Use code SURPRISE to get up to 52% off. Here's the link. Boom, done. Now you can see this is a long message. It does really give a little bit of education, like background on the product, like how does it actually work? Why do we need the product and all that? For most of you guys, sending this is going to cost too much. It's not really going to be worth it, especially including stupid emojis like this. Again, I'm not saying that they're stupid or anything like that. Obviously, it's working for them. I'm just saying for most of you guys, this is not going to be a very good approach, but something like, welcome to the Gruns family. You're eligible for a welcome offer today. Use code. Obviously, this is even too long probably, but just like use code, use it here, this is CTA, boom, done, right? That's how you want to do it. So here's actually a template. Welcome to brand name, whatever. Welcome to the North Face. Use code welcome15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Shop now, and here's a link. And that is going to probably be the best way to do it, at least the first time. Then you can go ahead, test different stuff, longer messages, shorter messages, emojis, MMS, SMS, whatever. But to start with, I would go with something like this. Obviously, you can kind of like customize it based on your brand voice and all that stuff, the way you guys actually speak at your company. That's absolutely fine. This is kind of like the template, obviously. I mean, it's a template. Like, it's customizable. So customize it based on your brand voice and like the way you guys frame things. That's absolutely fine. But this is kind of like the way you should start with, okay? Now, SMS abandoned cart flow. So the goal is pretty much obvious, okay? So we're targeting people who have added something to cart, but haven't bought in the end. So they come to our website, they see a product, they click add to cart, and then they leave a website. And then we're trying to get to those people. We're trying to get them to just get back to the website, fill in the details, and buy the product, okay? So here's the outline. Trigger, added to cart. So someone adds something to cart, this gets triggered and they get added to the flow. Here are the filters. Checkout starter, 0 times is starting his flow. Placed order, 0 times is starting his flow. Has not been in flow in the last 30 days. So why these filters? So when someone adds something to cart, they can also start a checkout because adding to cart is a prerequisite to starting a checkout, right? So to filter out the people who actually need to be in the abandoned checkout flow, we're going to add this filter. The same thing goes for the placed order. For someone to place an order, it is required of them to actually add something to cart first. So we don't want people who placed an order. We want people who did not place an order, who did not start a checkout, but did add something to cart. Or also, we don't really want to spam people. Maybe people add something to cart today and then tomorrow and then in 3 days, and we don't want them to enter this flow over and over and over again. We want to do it, let's say, once every 30 days. That's fine. Okay, so we have the trigger and the filters in place. Then after 1 to 2 hours, they're going to receive their first message. Now, this thing here is something you want to test, obviously. Like the first time delay is probably going to be the most important. The first time delay for every single message. Obviously, for the welcome flow, you want to do like 0 minutes, 0 hours, like you want it to be immediately. But for abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, all the other stuff, 1 to 2 hours, then you can test like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. You're going to test it and see what works the best for you. Now, first message is just going to be a reminder. Maybe you're going to deliver a discount as well. Like, hey, we've seen you added something to cart and you did not buy it. You can do like, you can get 10% off, something like that. Or just a reminder like, hey, we're still holding your cart. Here's a link to check out. Boom, done. You can decide whether you want to do a discount or not. That's just an idea, okay? But the first message is pretty much going to be a reminder. Then after day 2, maybe 3, whatever, you're going to do some sort of a last chance urgency push. So, hey, we're still holding stock for you. Here's the CTA. Like we can't really hold it for any longer. If you want to buy it, you can do it right now. If not, that's it, right? So you could also do like a discount for non-buyers. So for the people who are buying the first time, who haven't purchased before, you could do like a discount for them only. So you can just filter based on like, hey, placed order before or not. If they haven't placed order before, they can get 10% off, 15% off, whatever, based on your margins, and they can be pushed that way towards the purchase. That's fine. Now, here's an example from Kruns again. So you can see they're using emojis, which means that this message costs like way more. This extremely expensive message. Again, I wouldn't really recommend you do emojis in your messages because, as I said, it's going to be very, very, very expensive and you probably won't be able to afford it. But for them, it obviously works. In your case, it's not really going to be worth it. So let's read a message. Kruns, hey, we believe, good joke. You can try to be cordial like this. You don't have to. It works for them, so it's fine. So we believe in second chances and your green gummies are feeling unbearably lonely, ready to finish your order. We saved your card and snuck an extra 30% off just for you in the link below. Here's your link to check out. It'll take less than 15 seconds and the link is there. Super simple message, super like really good message, like straight to the point. Hey, we noticed you forgot your order. You can get the link, discount link. Here's where to check out. Boom, done. Super simple, super straightforward, to the point. They're not beating around the bush. They're not wasting your time. They're just like to the point. This is what your messages should look like, especially in SMS, okay? Now, template. You left this behind, but we saved it for you. Check out while it's still in stock, back to cart, and CTA link. That's it. Obviously, as I said, this is a template, this is like a framework, okay? You don't have to use these exact words. This is like just the idea, just the way you should think about it, okay? Obviously, you can change it, you can customize it, use different words, maybe even a completely different approach. This is just an idea for you if you don't know where to start. As I said, all these templates are in this document, and the document itself is going to be linked in the description, completely for free. No need to give me your email, nothing. Just click the link and it is going to open up on your computer or phone or whatever immediately. So you can go ahead, use the templates and build your flows, okay? Now, SMS abandoned checkout flow. So the goal is, again, pretty much obvious. So the goal is to target people who have started checkout but haven't finished it. So they added something to cart and then they took an extra step, which is like proceed to checkout, but they did not place an order. They did not finish the checkout, okay? So they abandoned that checkout page and we're trying to get them back to the checkout page, fill out their information and place an order. That's the idea, okay? So here's the outline of the flow. Trigger, checkout started, filter, placed order 0 times since starting this flow. Again, the same thing. People who have purchased had to start a checkout as well. So we don't want to target those people. We want to only target people who started a checkout but did not place an order. And then also people who have not been in flow in the last 30 days. Again, self-explanatory. We don't want to be spamming people. Time delay, 30 minutes to 2 hours is probably going to be the sweet spot. That's what we find for our clients is the best time delay. But for you, again, you have to test it. You might be different. Maybe your customers will respond better to 15 minutes. Maybe they'll respond better to 8 hours. Who knows? You have to test it. Again, I probably wouldn't say that they would respond better to 8 hours than to 2 hours or 15 minutes than to 30, 45, an hour, whatever, but you have to test it. But I would start in this range, okay? So SMS number 1, you forgot to check out. Here's a reminder, CDA, whatever, super simple reminder to the point. Again, you could do a discount for non-buyers, you could do a discount for anyone, whatever, really up to you, really up to your margins, really up to the way you market your product, that's fine. You just have to do this message as some sort of a reminder. Whether you want to add a discount to top, up to you. Then 1 day after that, 2 days after that, 3 days, whatever, again, you have to test this. You're going to send a next message and the last message in this flow. which would be kind of like a last chance. So again, pretty much similar to the abandoned cart. We're still holding stock for you, CTA, and like discount for non-buyers, which is optional. Okay, so these flows are going to be pretty much the same. You're going to just change the wording slightly, and it's going to be overall the same thing. Okay, now as you can see, this is pretty simple. You could make this way more complicated, like add a lot more messages, but I'm just trying to give you guys something that is very simple, so you can just start with, right? Later on, like you can hire a team to manage your SMS and email in-house. You can hire an agency like us, right, to manage this stuff for you and build like way more complicated flows for email and SMS and like send better campaigns and all that stuff. But if you're doing this on your own or like a small team, you guys like are still really small, whatever, this is going to be enough, okay? Especially if you're a smaller brand, like even if you were to build like a 5-message flow, the last 3 messages or 2 messages or 4 messages are not going to generate the results anyway. Like the first 1 or 2 messages are going to get you all the results if you're a smaller brand. Then if you're a bigger brand, you have a way bigger sample of people, you can run tests way faster and all that stuff, then it makes sense to extend the flow. But for you smaller brand guys that are right now small, that's fine, it's going to change. Don't worry guys, I believe in you. I would stick to something like this. So template, hey there, you forgot to check out, but we saved your cart, complete checkout or proceed to checkout or whatever. Again, customize this up to your brand voice and all that stuff, up to your preferences. It's going to be fine. So if you need more help, you can book a call with me. The link is going to be in the description. We're going to perform a completely free Klaviyo account audit so we can find out whether we can help you scale your brand. And we do that on a purely performance basis, which means that it's pretty much risk-free for you, like completely risk-free for you. What we do is like we generate revenue for you from email and SMS, and you just give us a small percentage of that as our fee. So if we don't perform, you don't pay us. If we perform very good, you pay us, and you're happy in both instances, right? Again, free Klaviyo account audit. We're just going to give you some tips and tricks on what you should do to scale your brand. If you see there is a fit for us to work together, great. If not, you just got some free tips and tricks, some free game. So it's pretty much no risk for you. Whether you work with us or not, you're going to get some really good value. So as I said, the link to the doc in the description, completely for free. The link to my calendar in the description to book a completely free Klaviyo account audit so you can work with us pretty much for free because we're making you way more money than you're paying us because it's on a performance basis. Okay. So that's it for me. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.